Hey guys, it's Hallie and Lauren. Welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to go over 6 things that you will only learn after living in the mountains, Colorado. So let's dive into our topic number 1. This is a good one. Let's talk about insurance. Yes. So it's a big issue right now, and it has been like forest fires is a really big natural disaster here, in the West. It's very dry. Yeah. And there's forest fires every summer. Yep. Every summer, unfortunately, it's become a big problem. It is a problem. There have been some really devastating fires in Colorado. And every year that insurance companies have to pay out, claims, right? It gets more expensive and it's harder and harder to get homeowners insurance. Yes. So it's really difficult right now in 2024. I see it all the time, like the Facebook groups for evergreen, conifer, and anywhere in the mountains, even like the ski towns. Yep. This is a big problem. So because of the risk of forest fires, homeowners insurance companies straight up are canceling policies on homes or not. They just won't issue insurance to you. So it's really become a really big issue. You see people are like, I just got canceled. Who do you go through? And there's really no good answer. Yeah. And then there's some insurance companies, they will insure you, but not your neighbor. And the reason for that is these insurance companies, from what I've heard, they will only take on a certain number of these high risk properties. So once like Allstate or Farmers or whatever has their max quota for the mountain properties, they're just not insuring anybody else. So you have to go find another carrier that maybe hasn't met their quota yet or something like that. And it's also it's more expensive. It's going to be plain more expensive to insure your house than it would be somewhere else. Right. But it's kind of like, if you live in a flood zone, right, somewhere else, homeowners insurance is going to be expensive. So just something to be aware of. And then they have all kinds of rules for what they'll insure you for. Like, I know my parents had to rearrange where their wood burning fireplace was several times. They had to reconfigure how the chimney was. They had to cut down trees that were within 20 feet of the house. You can't have any trees, touching your house, which is hard when you live in the forest. Right. It's a lot of tree cutting down and mitigation. Yes. So and there's all kinds of rules for it. So just be prepared for that. Obviously, there's thousands of people that live in the Colorado mountains and have homeowners insurance, but it is an ongoing kind of headache. It's become more of an obstacle. Over the years. And I know my parents, they had the same insurance for X amount of years. And then when it's happened several times, actually, they'll just be like, oh, we're not renewing you. Yeah. And then you have to go out and find another. Yeah. And it's just a big headache. Yeah. But no, just be aware of that when you're, looking for homes. If you're thinking about moving up here. Yeah. We can help you with a lot of that. Definitely are licensed realtors in the state of Colorado. And we can help advise you on who to go through to get that coverage and, what things could be red flags when you're looking at mountain properties. Definitely. So please, we love making these videos for you and helping you learn, but we would love even more to be your realtor here in Colorado. Call our number here and make sure you subscribe to our channel. We put out new movies, guys, new movies every week about all things Colorado. So, all right. So number 2 is wildlife. Ooh, wildlife. We call them our neighbors in the mountains because really you do know your neighbors who live in homes next to you, but you also have wildlife neighbors, and it's different in different mountain towns. Evergreen will have different wildlife versus wildlife maybe somewhere in Bailey. I just think certain, it does affect your daily life. So it does. It's not something you have to be prepared when you go on a hike. Yeah. We're talking about is, how it affects your daily life living in the mountains. Yes. So you have to be much more careful with your trash, and everyone has to have, bear-proof trash cans, containers. They're more expensive. They're heavier. Yes. They're more a pain in the butt. Yeah, they are. You have to have them to keep the wildlife safe. Yes. Because unfortunately what happens is if bears or mountain lions or anything comes from humans being irresponsible, and if that bear comes in contact with a human or anything, they go and kill the bear. Yeah. which is, very unfortunate. Which isn't the bear's fault. We want everyone who moves to the mountains to be well-educated.
Yeah.
We don't feed the wildlife. No. You don't throw, my parents always used to do this, but they don't anymore back in the day. They used to just throw, leftover scraps over the deck and feed foxes.
Yep. Not a good choice.
Yeah.
Not a good choice.
Yeah, it's really can be dangerous. So
another dangerous point with wildlife is driving at night in the mountains. We don't have a lot of street lights through neighborhoods. I'm not talking like the highways or the shopping centers. I'm talking more
even there's always an elk getting hit.
Always. Well, and deer will run out in front of your car. So when you're driving at night, you just have to be more mindful of that and go a little bit slower and be more mindful of your surroundings.
Because they come out of nowhere. Yep. It's really wild. Like, you cannot see them. And then all of a sudden they're in front of you.
Right.
So
the animals are so used to people being around that they don't have a fear of these things and will just kind of go right out in front of you. But with that being said, they do leave people alone most of the time. Deer. We do get a black bear every once in a while.
Yeah, you're going to see them, and there's this I don't think there's never been a death by bear in Colorado.
No, at least not that
unless heard of. But there's not grizzly bears in Colorado. There's only smaller black bears. Grizzly bears in Colorado are not a thing anymore. They are not here. Grizzly bears are obviously a way different story than the bears we have here in Colorado.
Right.
The small black bears, they're more afraid of you. And they're not going to hurt.
Pretty humble.
Yeah. And bears actually eat mostly berries.
There's wild turkeys. There's foxes. We have all kinds of animals. Hallie and I are in agreement on this. On probably the most dangerous wildlife that you're going to find in the mountains
is an elk or a moose.
Yes.
I'm a trail runner. I am out on the trails almost every day in the summertime.
Right.
And I will tell you, I've seen bear, I've seen mountain lions, and the only animal that actually ever truly threatened me was a female elk. And there were no babies around.
Right.
Truly almost killed me. Yeah. The elk and the moose, especially, I thankfully haven't ever ran into a moose yet, but these animals are, thousands of pounds and
huge.
They're huge. If there's one coming after you, you have no fighting chance.
Yeah.
No, you have no fighting chance. At least like bears, mountain lions, they have all these protocols on how to stay safe. You have a fighting chance. If an elk or a moose is after you, you're done.
Yeah. Try and avoid them as best as you can. There's a herd of elk that roam, throughout evergreen,
and they are not afraid of people. No. They are always, they will come right up to the windows at your home.
Oh, yeah.
That one actually dented my car. My car was parked in a driveway.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden my car alarm was going off. I went out, there's a herd of elk all over the driveway, and one had fallen into my car and literally dented it.
That's so crazy. They were in the back of my maternity photos. So far enough back on a golf course, they didn't bother us. But
so give them space.
Nothing dented me.
Yeah, and I think the misconception is people think, because they are, they can be docile, but just give them space.
Yeah.
Give them their space.
Yep.
Do not, that's what I did wrong when I ran into that elk that almost trampled me when I was running.
I
thought, just get out of my way, elk, move. And
not a good choice that.
Yeah. So give them their space.
Definitely.
And the other thing that'll impact your daily life is because you live in the mountains, these animals do occasionally get into your home. Squirrels. I've had squirrels. Numerous squirrels in my house growing up, unfortunately. Of course, mice.
Yeah.
Mice are a bigger problem getting into your home. We've even heard, raccoons can get into your house or get into people's chimneys,
right?
Which is scary. I haven't really heard of foxes coming in, but
I haven't either.
Bears do come into people's homes. And you do have to be careful if you have dogs. I will say this again, if you have small dogs, do not let them outside alone at night, even if you have a fenced yard.
Yes.
Because the animals can jump, can get over those fences.
Oh, yeah.
And they will take your dog.
Yep.
Cougars, foxes, any of that, they will take your dog.
Yep.
For sure.
My mom has a fully fenced yard, and every type of wildlife pretty much gets through.
Yeah.
So, they jump.
So do not leave your small dogs outside unattended ever.
Yep.
Ever.
Be very careful with that. She also has a dog door for her dogs to go out into the backyard. Every night she closes that with a big piece of, it's like a really firm metal and plastic together.
Yeah.
So nothing can come in and out of that.
Yes, because there was over in, Idledale. There, which is a town right near Evergreen. A mountain lion actually came into, they had their sliding glass door open, their door open to their bedroom, and the dog was sleeping on the floor.
Yeah.
Came in, grabbed the dog, an older Labrador, and took the dog.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, so crazy. So you have to be aware you can't just leave your doors open because the animals will come in.
Yeah. They do typically leave you alone, but you need to have precautions.
Yeah. So precautions for your daily life.
Yes, definitely.
So internet, cell phone service.
This is a big one. Yeah, we've got fun stories dealing with this in the mountains.
Yes. So even in the year 2024, internet options and cell phone service is very up and down in the mountains. In fact, my mom had CenturyLink for, I don't know, the last 20 years, and they all of a sudden decided they weren't going to service her area anymore. Then she had to go out and shop and find new. And then there's all these other, so there is other options, but like the big ones like Xfinity, Comcast, like Cox, as some of you might know it.
Yeah.
That's not available in the mountains. You cannot get cable.
Yeah.
No cable. So you can't get the fastest internet providers.
Right.
And then there's satellite internet, but your house has to be, or I don't know if it's satellite, but some of them you have to be in a view. Your house has to be able to
Get a signal out.
Yeah, so if your house is hidden in a valley or hidden by a mountain, you can't get the signal from that provider.
Right.
So you have to continuously shop providers and figure out which one works for you.
Yes.
And also just know, like, it's not going to be the same internet speeds.
No, it will not be.
It's not.
So if you're working from home and you have a Zoom call, there's a really good chance that you're not going to be able to even load the Zoom call.
At times, It's not super reliable.
No, it's not. For example, I was just at my mom's house last week and I was trying to work on one of our YouTube videos and the video will not load. It just kept spiraling. You can get Google to load, like your basic like Internet Explorer.
Yeah.
But in terms of
videos.
Videos are hard. If you want to watch Netflix, we have to turn off all of the Wi-Fi on our cell phones to get like a Netflix movie to run quicker. And that's not always the case, but like sometimes bad weather, if it's super windy out or windy or snowing.
There's a lot. Yeah. I mean, I won't even, like you said the other day, there's several times I go to my mom's and I'm like, I can't with these.
I'll do it later. So slow. And that's not everywhere, but there are pockets, and that's the same with cell phone service. We both, when we drive through the mountains, you'll notice like your cell phone will just go out. You can't make a call out for a couple of minutes, maybe 5 minutes to 15 minutes, but there will be spots where it just drops. You'll go into a valley and it's just kind of a dead zone.
Yeah. So, or you won't get, your text messages won't go through.
Email won't go through.
But a good solution to that is you can turn on Wi-Fi calling and text message calling.
Yes.
So if you are at a house and you have Wi-Fi, you can get your calls and texts that way.
Yeah.
But there's still, and I know it's 2024 and we're not talking about the remote mountain towns. We're talking about the mountain towns, Conifer, Evergreen, Bailey.
Yep.
Right there on the Front Range. Yep. Right there close to Denver. And within 30 minutes of Denver, there's a lot of areas that don't have cell phone service.
Definitely.
Yeah. So still
it's good to know
in this modern technology world we live in.
Yep.
Which is kind of nice. I like the mountains, you still get your privacy.
You do. You get your solitude. You get your peace. I do find that I love it because I'm just not near or on my phone as much.
Yeah.
And I was forced not to work while I was there. And honestly, it was great.
Yeah. The mountaintop, you know what I miss about the mountains? I live in Littleton now, but what I miss about the mountains is, and I still do this.
Yeah.
I don't know if you do this because I grew up, no one could see in my windows.
Right.
We were so secluded.
Right.
But now I forget that. We didn't even have we never used blinds.
Oh, yeah. No.
Most of our windows didn't even have blinds.
Yeah.
Except like maybe in the bedroom to keep the sun out. But I forget that. And I just walk around my house sometimes or I change and the blinds are wide open.
And you're like,
how like people can actually, see
people can
windows now. And I forget that. You get so used to if it's dark out there, no one can see me.
Yeah.
Yeah, people tell me all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I forget.
Whoopsie daisy.
I forget.
So it's got a plus and a minus to it, like it's just maybe people know that, maybe you don't, but it's still here. You do have dropped calls, you do have slower internet speed. It is what it is.
And it's surprisingly, like I said, we're not talking about way out in the middle of nowhere. We're talking about pretty close to the Denver metro area.
Yep. All right. So our point number 4, we're going to talk about distance to amenities. What's great is about these mountain towns, there are crowds, there are lines. You don't have reservation times 9 times out of 10. Right. But your distance to go to a restaurant, to go to a grocery store, to go to a gym may take a little bit longer. In the Denver metro, you can literally step out your front door and there's probably a places. In the mountains, you got to drive a little bit. Yeah. So, and the options are fewer. You may not have as many restaurants to choose from. You're not going to have, 10 Starbucks on every single corner when you leave your house in mile radius. So it's just things to think of. Everything's a little bit further, a little bit spread out, less variety.
Well, I think when people, everyone thinks, oh, well, it doesn't matter. I want to live in the mountains. Like, I want that, which it is great.
Totally.
But what you don't realize until you're actually living it is like how inconvenient it can be. Like if you forget, something, if you're making a dinner or, having company over and you forgot an important ingredient, like that becomes a much bigger problem than, oh, well, let me just run back to the store real quick. Right. It could be a half an hour commute to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Depending on where you live.
Yep.
Totally. It's a whole big thing.
It is.
And like people are like, oh, well, I'll just, plan my time around when I go down to Denver or whatever, which you can do normally. But then I found like my mom always gets really mad if she can't fit in all her errands, Denver errands in one day. And she's like, oh, well, then I have to make another trip down. Like, well, yeah, that's just kind of life.
Yeah.
But it will get to you after a while.
Definitely.
Yeah, the commute.
It does. If you have young kids and you're living in the mountains, distance to their, after school programs and amenities, you're going a lot further.
Yeah.
Like a dance studio or, football field. It just, there's so many things that just may be a further commute for you.
Yeah. So, or when you think like, oh, well, I'll still go see my friends and all that. But because of the commute, it just doesn't happen like you think. Especially if you're going out, drinking.
Oh yeah. The nightlife scene.
There's no nightlife. There's no Uber.
No.
There's no Ubers up there.
No.
So,
but Amazon does go most places. So,
which brings us to our next point.
Convenience. Thank you, Amazon.
Does bring us to our next point, though. Something you should know. This has only really gotten bad in the last 2 years
or recent
or so. But the mountain towns, we're talking about Evergreen again, Conifer, Bailey, have been having a lot of trouble with the USPS.
Right.
They cannot find enough staff to, they're way understaffed. So packages are not getting delivered in any kind of timely manner. Packages and mail. People's mail is getting lost. So people's mail is arriving. I mean, weeks, like months for things to arrive.
Crazy.
Like things that are supposed to arrive on a certain date. Like it's really a problem. Like because people send bills or invoices,
right?
Are not getting paid on time because people didn't get them,
right?
And I know like my mom's, even the Amazon packages, because they sometimes go through USPS up there.
Oh, and it's super delayed.
Yes. And they won't drive all the way down your driveway.
Yeah.
They have the wall that they won't drive. So, and instead of, they won't even throw them on your mailbox, they're just throwing them on the road, like by your drive. It's very weird. They're leaving them under trees. I found my mom's packages like under trees, random trees. It's really a problem.
That's really
so a lot of people, will have either their packages delivered to their office, or they'll get a PO box,
right?
Something like that, because the mail and package things it's really become a problem.
Yeah,
up there.
That's really unfortunate.
Yeah. They're having meetings about how they can overcome it, but unfortunately, USPS is a monopoly on the mail system, so. Till the government fixes it, kind of out of luck.
Yeah. And I can say, and then my mom's house is not located within those towns. She actually lives in Larkspur. So we're talking a little different area. And that isn't a problem there. Right. So you will find certain towns where it does seem like this is becoming a lot more prevalent, and then others not so much. So, definitely reach out to us if you have questions, and we can look into that if that's like an issue for you. We'd be happy to help you with that.
Right. And none of these, let's just say, none of these should be a reason that you don't want to move to the Colorado Mountains, because it's, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like the scenery and, the lifestyle of the mountains. You're just giving you these things so you're prepared.
Yeah.
So you can,
have the knowledge.
Get a PO box, have your packages delivered to an office or maybe to a friend's house.
Yep.
Or something like that.
Yep.
To avoid your packages being lost or stolen.
Totally.
Because if there's packages under a tree, they get stolen.
Yeah.
Or under a tree.
Yeah.
Random tree.
Or if it's a snowstorm and it gets ruined outside.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So we're just telling you these, to be prepared.
Yes.
Last point to know. if you have allergies to like dust and dirt, know that a lot of the roads, if you're living in the Colorado mountains, are dirt roads.
Yes.
And I didn't even know that because I grew up in the mountains on a dirt road. But I was amazed at how clean other people's houses were.
Yeah.
You know, when I was old enough to start noticing those things. If you live on a dirt road, your house is going to be dusty.
It's dusty
all the time. Like so much dust.
Yeah.
You're always going to be dusting. You're not going to want any knickknacks because you got to be dusting all the time.
Yep.
And there's no way around that. You just got to dust a lot.
Yep. Everything just does feel a little bit dirtier.
Yeah. There's a lot more dirt around, in the air.
Yeah.
Everything. And it's especially so if you live on a dirt road.
Yes.
Or, I mean, even if you have a dirt driveway. It just,
brushes up.
It's going to get into your house. It just is.
And then with the climate change, snow, weather, mud, and it's just, there's a lot of upkeep to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom's garage is pretty dirty, and it's from the cars, it's from the climate, it's from all of the dirt and dust on the way up to her house. So,
right. And another thing, a lot of people living in the mountains, which it is, it's very smart to have a wood burning fireplace for your heat source. It obviously saves a lot of money.
Tons of money.
You have, forest right outside your home.
Right.
So you have the fuel to burn it.
Logs right there.
Yeah, it's very common. But it is very messy to bring wood logs into your house all day. There's constant dirt and debris falling off the logs.
But then the charcoal from when the embers come off and everything.
Yeah, so when you have a wood burning, there's just going to be there's more dust.
Oh, yeah.
There's just more dust everywhere. And it can, I know it gets to me at my mom's house sometimes with my allergies.
Yeah, same. Just a reminder, we are licensed real estate agents in the state of Colorado. If you have questions or concerns, please feel free to call or text us at the number below. We would love to help you with any real estate needs.
Yes.
We'd also love you hit that subscribe button. And we put out new videos every single week.
Follow us for all things Denver in the mountains.
Yes. Thanks for joining us.